to connect and create. And there we go. Now we have our recording all set. Okay, great. Welcome everyone to Connect and Create. We have the fabulous Tanya Momi here with us today. Those of you that have joined us live in the studio, thank you for being here. And those of you that are joining us live on Facebook, thank you for being here. Before we get started, I want to just say that Tanya has come to me highly recommended. We've been in communication for over a month now, and so I've gotten to know Tanya a little bit better, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her work today and sharing it with all of you. And before we get started, I want to just share a little bit about Tanya. And hold on one quick second. There we go. So Tanya is an inspirational artist. She is, whose work is diverse. It's diverse enough to fall into several categories, okay? So including realism, cubism, abstract, and social realism, as well as spiritual art. Tanya's basic medium is oils and acrylics, and she also does some sketching. Her work is greatly influenced by her own life experiences, and one of the very first series that she worked on was about the pain and suffering of a single divorced woman. And the paintings appended to this series include When Friends Turned Their Backs, Wounded, Beaten But Not Broken, and Stop the Pain. So, so being that the suffering of women and people all around the world was her inspiration, Tanya paints to help people ease their suffering. So this is really great, right? We're getting an opportunity to see an artist share some of their own personal experiences and how those were channeled into her artwork. And through channeling that into her artwork, she's now able to produce whole bodies of work with that. So without further ado, Tanya, anything that you'd like to say to be here before we get into your presentation?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much, Corinna. It's much honor and privilege to be on talking to you today. This is great. So today I will be talking about me, and this is the hardest part. I was, very shy, very quiet, and here I'm painting about my own life and talking about my own suffering and sharing with everyone else. So my journey starts in India. I was born and raised in India. Then I came to the United States. I was 22 years old. And the best part is having in the Bay Area in San Francisco, what a beautiful place to arrive. And the way the journey starts is how I'll show you step by step what I bring in and tell you my own suffering, how I transformed and brought women together and the support I got from my own family. A lot of time artists paint something else, and I paint my own suffering and own journey in different styles. And I didn't know. I knew I was going to be artist, but I didn't know what kind of artist I'm going to be. And here I am showing you the real transformation and touching and moving my own life and touching and moving other women around the world through my art.
Great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing what you're going to share with us and hearing your story.
Thank you. There's such a vast styles I do, from cubism, realism, abstract, and social realism. I never knew what social realism was till I started painting 6-yard long canvases. And it's just one after another. And my studio started getting filled with, start channeling messages through me, through the journey of other people and the support I received. And a shy, quiet girl who became so bold and could express her feelings through art with bold colors. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself again. Today will be all about talking about myself. So I was born in India, and I grew up in Chandigarh. Chandigarh is a very beautiful city in northern part of India. My father is a writer and a journalist. We are 4 girls. I'm number 3. Coming from a very, very liberal family, my father's was very supportive of girls. We could do whatever we wanted. My mother's being a housewife, she encouraged us that girls are no less than boys. And so I start my journey. I arrive in San Francisco. I'm 22 years old. And I had 2 children, and then starting a business, which I never thought I would be doing, and exhibiting my art in Toronto, in Beverly Hills, London, Sweden, India, and many galleries and museums. So I'm just trying to think where to start. There's so much stuff to share about my journey. So I went to art college, 1 year art college in Chandigarh. Then I did my bachelor's in fine arts. And I got married in India and came to the United States. And when I arrived in the United States, I had to live in a joint family. And this family was not into art and culture. Where I grew up, where my parents, we were into very advanced Indian family would be in India with 4 daughters. My sister was in art and culture. My father being a writer and a journalist, we will have a lot of writers and artists will come to our home, and my mother will be entertaining them. So culture became quite a thread of our fabric. And so we didn't know better. We just knew that this is how life was. And parents being so supportive of us to pursue whatever we wanted to pursue. So the one tragic part is my parents, who are living in British India, they're born in British India, and then the partition happens in 1947. And they were 12 and 11 years old. So now my parents start their journey from nothing. And their trauma and their partition really, really affected us, because I am now a first generation born in independent India. And seeing how my parents building their lives. And we are part of that tragedy. But that didn't stop my parents or the people living in northern part of India. We were still figuring out life and learning to survive and to thrive. So I finished my education. Now I'm here in the United States. I'm 22 years old. And the family I'm arrived is very, very, I couldn't fit in them. There was nothing I could do that they would approve of me. And I tried my really dearly hard 9.5 years having a son and a daughter. And then eventually, with support of my parents, I left that abuse and never looked back. And I didn't paint for 22 years. I was too busy raising my 2 children and trying to survive and thrive at the same time. The biggest part was the support I received from my both parents and my sisters. And that's what I paint in my art, the support from women and men and families and friends. I knew I would be an artist. I knew I was going to be an artist when I was very young, but I didn't know what kind of artist and what I was going to paint. I was going to do graphic arts, or I was just going to do landscapes and stuff. I didn't know all this stuff was building inside me. And I started my business in 89. I started in my 20s, I started owning a business. In every walk of life, people start coming to in my salon. I forgot to tell you that I own a salon called Spoil Me in Mountain View. I'm in Mountain View since 1989. And these people, I was very shy and quiet, and they wanted to know more about me. And they'll start, asking, where do you live, what you did, what was your education? And I told them I did my bachelor's in fine arts. And they said, do you paint? I said, no, I haven't painted. I haven't picked up a brush. So they had a great way of gifting me canvas and art supplies. And one Christmas evening, my friend Aruna called. She said, I'm bringing your Christmas gift, but I have to bring in a van. I'm like, what are you bringing? She said, no, I can't tell you. So she brings me an easel. I can't tell you the joy I had receiving that easel. So here in my Los Altos home, I get up in the morning and put a tablecloth in the living room next to the Christmas tree. Since I had enough supplies, I started painting. I painted 4 paintings that morning. My kids woke up and see a different side of their mother. And that year, I painted 100 paintings. And how that style came to me, it was built up for 22 years, start showing up. And from there, it's been 13 years, and I've been painting and displaying my art around the world. To me, it became a universal language. It made me bold and more to express, and I could express my language through art, not through words. So I will tell you the first painting, American Dream. This is one of my early work in 2007. How an immigrant comes in their traditional outfit with one suitcase. The American flag is in the back and the sidewalk. And I remember when I landed in SFO. So it's not me, it's everyone else's journey. How we land and wherever we go. And this painting was liked by many, many American Indians, especially the young kids who were born here. They would say, this is my mother's journey. This is my parents' journey. We can relate to this when our parents came to United States. And the reason I don't put faces in my paintings, because you can relate to, anybody can put their own face and their own emotions, their own story and journey of coming to US. The circle of trust is I start channeling and seeing the support I was getting from my sisters, my mother, my father, my brother-in-laws, my cousins, everybody. And the women in my life, the salon I owned. I didn't even know I was creating a circle of trust with these women. They trusted me and I trusted them. So how they're sitting on a carpet with a bowl, which is uniting them, and they're all sharing the unity and the love and the support with each other. Whisper. This is this painting I painted in 2 sessions. part one and part two. This is part one. This is another early painting I painted. There's women sitting in a circle. They're very close to each other. They're faceless, and they're about to have a breakthrough. And the door is open. And there may be somebody behind that door listening. Their body language is very, very, I would say, supporting each other. Their heads, they're very close to each other. And that's what I felt in my own life, that each person who showed up in my life, they were giving me this support, and how I had my breakthrough getting out of that abuse and never looking back. And there's women around the world, they're still probably going through this. And whoever will see this will have their own breakout or breakthrough, so they could get that support. In the second painting, Whisper 2, they're sitting in a garden outside. I painted these Sikh women. One of the Sikh emperor, Ranjit Singh, these women play a big role in his life. One is his mother-in-law, one is his daughter-in-law. We don't have any pictures of them because the history starts in 1800. And the first Rani Chandkar was a real princess. She was a born princess. So I read their lives, which made me strong and gave me inspiration that women in 1800, they were powerful, they were living a wonderful life. So I thought she will be very soft. She would be wearing a lot of jewelry because she was a princess. And the gaze she has in her eyes. And women did wear headscarf, but then in a different style in a Sikh culture than anywhere else. So I painted her in what she would look like in 1800. And then Sadakar, who was a very assertive, firm woman who even fought a few wars. She even rolled a little bit. So I would think she would be more tan, she would be more assertive, she would be more bold. That's why I put her bold blue color scarf on her. There's so many stories I have to share, but I was not able to share so many stories in one day today. How many people came and touched, moved, and inspired me, and how many people I touched and inspired them through my journey. And the salon became a medium for me that people will show up and we end up becoming friends for life. And there's many, many women. I have a list of people. It's such a long list. I can't even thank them. It means my list will be very, very long if I start saying everybody's names. So I'm just going to say thanks to each and every woman who came in my life, the comfort they gave me. So in this painting, I painted and I was exhibiting at Toronto University. The opening night, this young man came to me and very quiet and very shy. He said, how much is this painting? And I gave him the amount. He said, can I buy this? And I looked at him and I said, what you see, what you relate to this painting? He said, I really like the colors. I really like the figures. I really like what the title says. And he just wrote a check and walked away and took the painting. And I just recently, July 1st, I just painted this painting again called Comfort. I try not to copy the same thing, but I wanted to bring the same. I love burnt umber and burnt sienna. These are my favorite colors. So I start building my canvas with burnt sienna and burnt umber with shapes and creating the illusion of coming forward and backward. So here these women are in a circle and there's two babies. They're comforting each other. And you'll see one more thing is they have their food plates and glasses next to them. And you will see a lot of time my women do nothing. And I really teaching women to do nothing. Nothing means being with yourself and not always doing something. A lot of time I see artists, they make women doing hard labors. And in mine, you will see they are relaxing and enjoying their moment and being themselves and comforting each other. When I heard Mark Twain say, I kill my own snake, I light my own cigar. I repeat that, I kill my own snake, I light my own cigar. And it really hit me that I support myself and I take care of my own needs. If I do a painting with killing a snake and a cigar, I didn't think that would be really appropriate. So I wanted to make that into a painting. And that is this woman. I painted the chakras behind her. So her crown chakra is on her feet and her root chakra is on her head. So she's looking into the future. So Independence Day and my future self. So she's saying, I kill my own snake and I light my own cigar, that I provide for myself and others. I think it's really solved, which my parents gave me the confidence. So I'm a very confident person. And that's what I'm putting. If we raise our daughters to give them confidence so they can provide for themselves and others, and male, if they have maturity. Because if my marriage was have last, if the person was mature enough to handle and to see where his life and what his suffering created so many suffering for other people, myself, my two children, and he didn't want to claim them. So that's very, very sad. And this way, this woman is showing up. She's living hundreds of years back and where she's thinking of the future. From the chakras, now is the lotus. Lotus grows in a muddy, murky water. She's arising from that murky water. So the half of the painting is upside down and half is she's facing the world straight. And the lamp is the light, which is a future light. And when I painted this, I put a little tilt in her shoulder and her arm and her hand, little stiffness as she's ready to write her check. And the freedom, the dove is flying out of that. So the snake is the check, the money, and the cigar is the pen. And she's wearing a silver jewelry because she's not very wealthy. If she's wealthy, she will be wearing gold. And from her open toe shoes, her toe jewelry, she's talking about the time she's in that old time where she was and where she's heading in the future. And the little fire in her belly. I don't have the slides for the paintings because I painting 100 paintings a year. And I'm continue painting. I just finished painting with the COVID-19 and about what's going on right now. There's a painting called Color Ladder 1 and Color Ladder 2. As an artist, I feel suffering around the world. And through my own suffering, I create these original art, feeling a language, a bold message to channel through me to spread to the world that anyone can relate to these paintings. I'm not alone in this journey. People before me, people after me, we will be still have something to share and something to connect. And through the salon, I really have a support system. I help many charities. I donate my art, and I work with women or men or children on my free time with my own time and money. I support women who could relate to me. And I always tell them, if I can do this, you can do this too. I never thought I would be this kind of bold artist. I never thought I'll be owning a salon. And it's been now 33 years. And I really think if I didn't have art, all that 22 years I didn't paint, I would be lost without that. And I found my own voice through this. And in that abuse, I lost my identity. So I started my identity, started myself coming through this, being a very shy and a quiet person. The support I have for my family, it is amazing. If I didn't have that support from my mother and father, my father being a writer and a linguistic guy, he would have a family time at night and we all have dinner together and discussions about art and culture, and gave us what they didn't have, and they starting their life from nothing and we got everything. And that ritual I continued with my own children. And I encourage other kids and mentor them and see, live your life the fullest. These people came in my life and touched, moved, and inspired me. And I am touching and inspiring you through my art. The Cubism, I painted a lot of different gods. The painting behind me is Ganesh, Shiva, Krishna, and many other gods I have painted. Then in realism, I did some portraits and I did a lot of women work. And in social realism, I painted a first painting called Every Town and Country Therapy Center. An unborn child said, listen to me, please. A divorce outlet, brain functions, why men rape. So there's a problem, there's a solution. For me, when I paint a painting, I wanted to see from problem to solution. And I'm going to continue painting and continue showcasing my work around the world and connect with everyone. I guess I still have some time.
Yeah. Did you have more images to show, or did you get to the end of your images?
Yes, the images are ended because there's so many images. I would be hopping from 5 different styles.
Okay.
So I thought I'll just stick with one, which is woman empowerment.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for putting that beautiful presentation together, and thank you for sharing from your heart and soul. And anything else you want to share about the work? Like, it seems like you've gone on a long journey, and you have your salon, you have your painting. You know, what would something be that you would want to, you know, share as inspiration for other people who might have some creativity that they wanted to explore, but maybe they were on hold on that, had some kind of a pause going with their creativity? What would you say that creativity has brought for you that you would want?
I think I'm a perfect example. If I can do it, you can do it. And building the same thing, it comes to the support, the women, the circle of trust, the whisper, and encouraging each other. And I'm so fortunate I got all the encouragement from friends and family. So it starts from a family. So if I didn't have a support from my family, that I was in such a abuse, and I told them, and my mother and my father say, I think you deserve better. So I left that and never looked back. A lot of time people don't leave their abuser. Mm-hmm. This is what I think, because there's no support coming from the family.
Okay.
And we all are very talented. We all have something in us. And don't hold back in some shape or form. Try to express that, because building inside you, like me, for 22 years, everything was building inside me. And I didn't know what I was going to paint and what was going to come out. And this is what the truth, the boldness, a shy, quiet person. I still have a hard time talking about myself. But when I can paint, I can express my thoughts and my language. My medium is art, so where I can show. And the support I got from the people, that is what really made me today.
Great, great. So yeah, your whole journey has been, very moving, just in the way that you've been able to share who you are, where you've come from, uh, how art became such a big part of your life. And I wanted to just ask, is there anything, in right now, we're experiencing so many different, worldwide, right, inside the global pandemic, inside of what, occurs like the second civil rights movement, what would you say to what's happening right now in the world, and how is that affecting your art? And, what kind of message would you like to share with people regarding what's happening right now?
Sure, I think I'm very clear with this, especially growing up in India. We don't see race and color. We don't. We are all in together. And when you come here and you check mark, this is your race, this is your gender, this is your color, that really, we are one human race. If there will be one box that we say is one human race, that's where I want to see.
Okay.
And if we can, I think if we stop fighting and stop accusing and blaming and seeing the truth that we are all suffering, and the end of suffering is acceptance. If we accept we are one man, human kind, and we're one race, why can't we support each other? And that's why painting, which I painted, is called a ladder, color ladder 1 and color ladder 2. As I said, I could go on, and there's so much art I painted, but I wanted to have a real conversation and real me, because that's who I am, where you can, I can touch, move, and inspire you, because I have touched and moved my journey through this art. And this is, a lot of time we don't get to see and hear the real artist. I don't like to foof up. This is the truth. This is my journey. And I didn't expect where my journey was going to take me. Every girl has a dream of,
Mm-hmm.
living as a princess, but I did not live as a princess. I have to kill my own snake and light my own cigar. And thanks to my family, my friends, I do have a circle of friends who are there for me, and I'm there for them. That's what we are missing. That's why we are fighting. We are pointing fingers at each other and saying that you're this race, or you're this color, or you're this. Just be one. If we can bring oneness.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for looking, and thank you for sharing your perspective. And it really would be wonderful if we could love one another and be a human race, right? Instead of always looking for the differences and carrying all that hatred.
Yes.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
It's very simple. It's, if you come from a different cultures, you can see it's very simple. We create the complex.
Mm.
And I did another series about partition. I'm finishing the last painting. I done 10 of them. So it's talking about the partition. It's the same thing, the subject we're becoming. When we were divided, the first painting is called Divided. India and Pakistan being divided, and my family, they become refugee in their own country. We were traded for other race or other religion. And they don't realize the impact had on my grandparents, starting their refugee for 3 years in their own country. And then my parents starting their life. My father started publishing at age 14. And then he wrote 23 books about his journey.
Wow.
And then we are the first generation born in independent India. And here we are. We lived longer. My family settled in Toronto, Canada. They lived longer away from their home than there. And we are not going back. We left our roots. And here I'm in the United States for 37 years. This is where I am. And my father said, wherever you live, you do the best. You serve your country. Well, I am American, and that's who I am. And that's what I want to be known. Yes, I was born somewhere, but I'm serving my country.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Tanya, anything else you want to share before we open it up to some questions for the people that we have here in our live Zoom audience, as well as our Facebook Live? Those of you that are listening on Facebook Live, you're welcome to type a question in the chat, and I have that open, and I'm happy to relay the questions to Tanya. And those of you that are here, do you have any questions or comments that you'd like to make? We've got some time, and we'd love to hear from you and include you in this dialogue.
I think I would love to hear from my dear, dear friends who are supporting me at this moment. I just don't have enough words to say thank you to my supporter, my families, and my friend, and my viewer. And a lot of the best part is being and having a salon. Majority of my clients own my piece of my art, and so I say, when I sign it, I say, you're taking a piece of me. So they get to meet me, and I get to express and talk about my art. So I'm very fortunate. Even through the suffering, I have a lot to share and be grateful for. And I do love to cook. That's how I unwind. And I have a little garden, which I was never a garden, but I became a garden because I have a client who's a master gardener. Anything I touch, it grows. So don't ask me how to grow anything, but I'll touch it and it will grow. So life is wonderful.
Yeah, it sounds like you have art in so many places, in your painting, in your gardening, in your cooking, in your salon. I noticed we have someone on our Facebook Live that I know has owned a salon and has worked in many salons. And how would you say that that's an expression for you?
You know, I would never thought that salon is a wonderful medium. My gosh, it's just a secure place to be there, and people hearing other people's journey, and I become part of their journey, and they become my journey. So it's fabulous. I think that's what I think my journey was created for me, that this is what I'll be living, and I am living the fullest. And I'm touching, moving, and inspiring, and living my fullest.
Great. So yeah, I'd love to open it up. If you have a question, you can raise your electronic hand. You could type it in the chat as well if you weren't up to asking, but I'd love to create a little bit of a dialogue here. Any questions or thoughts or comments? Is it Nazreen? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Hi. Hi, I am Tanya's friend Nasreen.
Nazreen, welcome.
Yeah. I am from Pakistan. We met here about 10 years ago, and Tanya is such a wonderful friend. I call her my soulmate. Her parents migrated from Pakistan and went to India, and my parents migrated from India to Pakistan at the same place from her parents had left. So there is this exchange of roots, and we speak the same Punjabi dialect. So we connect at soul level. I'm a photographer, an artist in photography, and she is just an artist in every aspect of her life. So it's so wonderful to see her in this interview, and I am her support and she is my support. This is how we connect. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you so much. So she's my photographer. So I bring these big, big pieces to her studio, and she takes photos for me and then upload them and helps me. She is an amazing woman.
Great, great.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing a bit about yourself as well and your connection.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We've got a couple more. Meryl or Pete, anything that you'd like to share? Pete, you're on mute still. Let's see. There you go.
It's not working too well.
There
Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to Tanya for letting me know that she was doing this today. And also want to know, when is she exhibiting any more of her art and where?
Did you hear that, Tanya? When and where will you be exhibiting?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Pete, so much. Thank you for joining in. And yes, I had a lot of cancellation this year, so it's going to be all. Matter of fact, I will be letting everybody know. I have been sending my art calls to a lot of museums and stuff. So it will be all visual, nothing going to be in person. I had a solo exhibition at this year, but it was all canceled at this moment. So I will definitely let everybody know what next will be coming in and I will be sharing that information.
How are you going to share it though? I mean, are you going to blast emails to everybody you know, or are you going to post it somewhere? I mean, if we could do that.
Everywhere. So I sent my Instagram, my Facebook, my text message, my email. I did everything for this. So the same thing I will be doing once I found out. Right now, there is one of my paintings exhibitions going in Texas, and I'll try to. It's all online. There's nothing in person, and I'm waiting for replies from a few more museums at this point.
All right. Well, wish you the best.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Tanya, do you want to put your email, your website or email in the chat, or do you want me to post anything on the Facebook Live?
Sure. It's pretty simple. TanyaMomi.com.
TanyaMomi.com. No dots before that.
No. So that's the website is TanyaMomi.com.
Okay.
Facebook is Tanya Momi. Instagram is #Tanya Momi. Because when they go on my website, they can send me an email.
Okay, great. Well, Tanya, thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure to have you here. And Meryl, was there anything that you wanted to share? Our first guest? No pressure, but if there was, this is a good time. So Tanya, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing so much of yourself. And as we talk about Connect and Create, really the intention is to connect people who are artists and entrepreneurs and give a platform for people to be able to share who they are and what they're up to in the world. If there's a message or if there's something special that they want to share. This was a platform that I created during the stay-at-home, the really stay-at-home part of the pandemic. Not that we're still not staying at home quite a bit, but it's opened up a little bit more. And I found I had some extra time on my hands, and I'm used to being social and being out in the world and communicating with people and meeting new people. And I had some friends that started something called the Daily Huddle. And so I would go to the Daily Huddle every day. It became part of my daily practice. And I was a guest speaker on that. And it was wonderful to have a platform to be able to share who I am as an artist with people and have that go out in the world. And so I kept recommending people to the Daily Huddle. And then at a certain point, I thought, all right, Karina, if you're that enthusiastic about this, maybe you could create your own platform. So on Tuesdays, we have the Connect and Create. There's a Facebook page also for Connect and Create. And much like Tanya, I also have a lot of art that's online this year. It's not quite the same. I have a few pieces in museums and galleries that are having openings that are kind of staggered openings and things throughout the day, but we'll see how that goes. So Tanya, once again, I really appreciate you being here as a guest. Meryl, I see that you have yourself off mute. Was there something you wanted to share before we close up?
Just thank you, that was nice. I know Tanya from our Dream Bridger group, and I was glad to listen in and find out more about her. That was very nice.
Great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. And love to stay connected with all of you. And next week we have another fabulous artist, Megan Miller Lopez, and she's also from the West Coast. So it'll be afternoon here and morning there. But feel free to come back next Tuesday, and we have some other fabulous creative human beings that will be sharing on Tuesdays coming up. So Tanya, I'd like to give you the last word. Anything in particular you'd like to leave our live audiences with, as well as our global Facebook Live audience with?
So first of all, I'm so glad what you created. This creation is going to go a long way. And acknowledging artists community is still, only a lot of hidden artists hidden. That's what I would say. And what you started the platform is wonderful. All my friends who found out, I have a lot of artist friends. I think they should be joining you and coming and interviewing. I think that will be wonderful. Showcase their side of story and their art. And I'm really touched what you created it. And I'm really honored to be here today. And I'm really, really glad. And this will be recorded and I will be sending it to my friends and they can watch whoever missed today's talk. So it's just be kind and be nice and create a community and help each other. We are one human race, and just simplify it. Don't complicate it. Just make it simple. That's what I'd say.
A great solution. Just simplify it. One human race, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with you on that one. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Come back next Tuesday. If you're an artist yourself and you would like to present your work, please feel free to get in touch with me. You can send me a message in Facebook or you can get in touch with me on my website. It's karinasafora.com in the contact area. And thank you once again, everyone, for being here and have a fabulous Tuesday. We'll see you next week.
Same to you. Thanks to everyone. Thank you so much
You're
to
welcome.
each and everyone.
Take care. One human race.
Yes.
Keep it simple.
Yes.
Okay, great. Take care. Have a great week.
Okay. Bye-bye.